Hello, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. We were constructing the spillover index. So we had brought the variance decomposition results onto our Excel, and then we were doing the average. So here we have done the average of shock that IT return is getting from IT return, and the average of shock that IT return is getting from Sensex return. So here we have done the average of the amount of shock that Sensex return is getting from IT return and the average of the amount of shock that Sensex return is getting from Sensex return. I think you can see the formulas uh, in the formula bar. So this is the average of Sensex return, the shock that Sensex is getting from itself, and which is for the past 10 periods. And we have put that data into our spillover index. We have just copied and pasted it into our spillover index. So the Cholsky ordering is Sensex return and then IT return. That shock is coming from Sensex return and going to IT return. So now we will be constructing the spillover index. First, let us write what is the amount of shock that Sensex is getting from other sectors. So in the spillover index, we basically write the cross volatility impact. So the amount of shock that Sensex is getting from IT is written in the from column, and the amount of shock that IT is getting from Sensex is also written in the from column. Now we will write the amount of shock that Sensex is giving to IT, which is written in the to column, and the amount of shock that IT is giving to Sensex, it will be written in the to column it's also. So now we will do from minus 2 to understand whether a stock or an index or our data is net transmitter or net receiver of shock. So it is just subtraction from minus 2 for the Sensex index. So as we can see, Sensex is a net transmitter. Now let us do it for IT from minus 2. So as we can see, IT here is a net receiver. We have written that, and now we will construct the index. We will do the summation of the from column. We can also do the summation of the to column. It will be the same thing, and then we will divide it by 2. So we are basically dividing it by 200 and then multiplying it by 100, but here we will just directly divide it by 2. So it's very understandable that Sensex, being the market, is actually transmitting the shock to the other sectors, which is why it is negative. The from minus 2 result is negative in the case of Sensex. However, it is positive in the case of IT, because IT being a sectoral index, and the market index is basically a collection of many other sectoral index. So obviously, uh, IT receives shock from the market. So we will now do the summation of the from column. We could have also done the summation of the to column. It would have given the same result. Yeah. So now we will be dividing this value by 2. So I repeat, this is basically dividing it by 200 and then multiplying it by 100. So this is our spillover index result. Also, for better understanding, I have done using three indexes also. So we have taken we have taken PSU, and then we have taken oil and natural gas index, and then we have taken uh, FMCG index. So here it is. We have the Sensex return, that is the market, and three sectors, that is FMCG, oil, and PSU, which is public sector undertaking sector. I am loading it to views. Now we will be opening all of these data sets together as var model. Open and then as var. So we need to know the optimum number of lag, which we will do through the checking of the lag length criteria. So this result is actually not important today, the coefficient result, because we are constructing the spillover index. Let's go to lag length criteria. So according to LR, 8 is the optimum number of lag, likelihood ratio. FPE says 8 is the optimum number of lag. AIC says 8 is the optimum number of lag. And also SC says 8 is the, no, sorry. SC is saying 0 is the optimum number of lag. And HQ is also saying 0 is the optimum number of lag. So we should actually go by the majority. So we can choose 8. And so we are understanding the optimum through the star. It indicates the lag order selected by the criterion. The star given like against the number. So let's put 8 as the optimum number of lag intervals. So here we have the results. However, this is not important for today's analysis because today we will be constructing the spillover index, and we will be understanding what is the amount of shock that one sector has and how much of it is coming from the other sectors or how much of it is coming from the market. Today we will be basically working with that. So we go to variance decomposition. So the Cholsky ordering that we will put is Sensex and then FMCG, and then oil and then PSU. However, you can do it on the basis of your research question. So this is the Cholsky ordering. However, I think I have made a mistake here. It will not be ONG in Cholsky ordering. It will be oil because the name is wrong. So the results are wrong here. So, like in the Cholsky ordering part, I wrote ONG by mistake. However, now it is giving as oil. So, so I made a mistake here. I didn't change the Cholsky ordering correctly. So it should be FMCG first. However, like in the Excel, I have the data set that I have prepared that the Cholsky ordering is absolutely correct. I'll also show it to you there. So I'm not going to paste it actually in Excel because in Excel I already have the various decomposition results. So here it is. So here is the variance decomposition results, and here, as you can see, the Cholsky ordering is absolutely correct. And I'll also show it to you again. The Cholsky ordering is from Sensex, then FMCG, then oil, and then PAC. So here is the average that we have already calculated. I didn't want to calculate and waste time in the video. Yeah, see, the Cholsky ordering is Sensex, then FMCG, then oil, and then PSU. And we have the averages already calculated. The average amount of shock that FMCG is receiving from Sensex, average amount of shock FMCG is receiving from oil, and the average amount of shock that FMCG is receiving from itself. So we have all the averages already calculated, and the Cholesky quadrant you can see. So now I will paste the data here, paste the uh, variance decomposition results here, the average results. So average amount of shock that Sensex is getting from itself for the past 10 periods, average amount of shock that Sensex is getting from PSU for the past 10 periods, average amount of shock that Sensex is getting from oil for the past 10 periods, and average of the amount of shock that Sensex is getting from FMCG over the past 10 periods. And now for PSU. So the average amount of shock that PSU is getting from Sensex will be the first thing, 56.44572. The average amount of shock that PSU is getting from itself, which is actually not very high, which shows that PSU is actually impacted a lot more by other market externalities than by sectoral performance of itself. And then amount of shock that Sensex, sorry, that PSU is getting from FMCG, amount of shock that oil index is getting from Sensex, amount of shock that oil is getting from PSU, amount of shock that oil is getting from itself. Oh, I made a mistake here. I pasted, so I will just write the average again. But like you just have to paste it there. Just copy paste the average result data results. Yeah. So here we have the average for the past 10 periods, and I'll just paste it there. Average amount of shock that oil is getting from FMCG. Now the average amount of shock that FMCG is getting from Sensex. Average amount of shock that FMCG is getting from PSU. Amount of shock that FMCG is getting from oil. Average amount of shock that FMCG is getting from itself. So now do we have to understand what is the amount of shock that Sensex is receiving from other sectors. So apart from Sensex, we would add up the other columns. In the case of PSU, apart from PSU, we will add up the other columns. So here also, apart from PSU, we will be adding up the Sensex amount, that is 56.44, then the oil amount 18.44, and then FMCG amount, which is 0.14. In the case of oil, we will be adding up Sensex, PSU, and FMCG. That is the amount of shock that it is getting from Sensex, PSU, and FMCG, not from itself. Now, in the case of FMCG, we will be adding up the amount of shock that it is getting from Sensex, PSU, and oil. Two also, we will be seeing how much amount of shock that Sensex is giving to other sectors. So apart from Sensex, we will be adding up the rest. Amount of shock that Sensex is giving, that PSU is giving to other sectors apart from itself. Amount of shock that oil is giving to other sectors. Amount of shock that FMCG is giving to other sectors. So we have it here. Yeah. So now we do from minus 2 to see which one of them is a net receiver and which one of them is a net transmitter. So it's very intuitive that market will be the net transmitter. So let's see here. So Sensex is a net transmitter and PSU, oil and FMCG, three of them are net receivers of shock. So we will write it down here. Now I will sum up the from column. You can even sum up the two row, the value will be just the same. So summing up, and this will be divided by 400 and multiplied by 100 to construct the spillover index. 400, 4 because there are four indexes here. So indices here, Sensex, PSU, oil and FMCG. It's 4. So we divide it by 4 or divide by 400 and multiply by 100, same thing. So we divide it by 4. And this is the final amount, 43.522. So I hope this was helpful. In the next video, we will be talking about finding out the upside and the downside beta. That is, we will be understanding how the cap and beta is when the market is in a good mood or when the market is optimistic and when the market is pessimistic. Previously, we have done it using the TAR model. However, TAR employs OLS, and given the stylized facts of financial time series data, it is better if you are using Gauch family models, because through Gauch models you can understand volatility clustering, and Gauch models also incorporate things like impact of news, past news, or like impact of past volatility, which is the most important thing about Gauch models. So it incorporates impact of past volatility. So I hope it is helpful. So thank you so much for watching this video.